Hey guys, wow, have I got something interesting for you today. So over the last few months, as you guys know, I have been making content around different gurus and the persuasion techniques they use, from Alex Hormozi to Iman Gadzhi to Andrew Tate to other different types of SMMA gurus as well. Now, all thanks to you guys engaging and sharing, this content is starting to get more and more popular. So popular, in fact, that other big content creators have started to copy the psychology breakdowns and pass it off as their own. Now, I had no idea about this, but 3 of you guys over the last few days have reached out to me pointing out the similarities of some of these breakdowns in other creators' videos. One of which we're gonna watch through today to see if you guys can judge the similarities. You know, I'm not going to say anything, but it's entirely up to you guys to make the assessment of whether this creator actually copied the breakdown there. Now, this is the DM that I got over Instagram, which alerted me to this. It says, "It's this one. I did leave a comment pointing out the content was copied, but he deleted it. I left another one though." And the comment here, I've removed the name obviously for privacy purposes, says, "Your analysis seems a lot like a video that Rob Lally posted on his channel last month, even using the same video of Iman Gadzhi and breaking down the psychology in the same format. Do better." So they deleted one of my subscribers' comments which said the content was copied. But I'm not going to judge just yet. That's actually for you guys to make the judgment. Let's watch the video. Introducing Brett Malinowski. Now, Brett is the person who a few people have been DMing me about over Instagram. Brett has 434,000 subscribers. I only have a measly 1,000 subscribers. Brett's goal is to be as honest as possible.
But my goal is to be as honest as possible.
Now, me and Brett made a reaction video of the psychology principles in Iman Gadzhi's 7 Principles for Teenagers to Become Millionaires. Except I made mine on the 11th of April, 6 weeks before Brett made his on the 23rd of May. Let's compare the videos side by side.
Not only helped me make my first $1 million at 18 years old.
We can see that he's went on to establish his authority and credibility straight away by saying it's not only $1 million.
He does this to assert his authority by showing that he has achieved what the viewer wants to achieve.
Now, real quick before we get into today's video, I've had tons of people over the years ask me to do like Q&As on Instagram or even here on YouTube.
I have tons of people asking me to do Q&As there, so he's social proofing himself even more, which is establishing his authority.
He very specifically said, people ask me to do Q&As. This is the psychology principle of social proof.
I will hold my hand up and say that a very large portion of why I'm in the position I am today is because of luck, or the grace of God in my opinion, and timing.
So if you look what he did there, it was basically get you to like him a little bit more. People tend to buy from them and believe them if they are a likable figure.
Again, he is using the psychology principle, likeness.
He's playing psychological warfare.
So the first minute of this video is dedicated to pure psychological warfare.
Iman Gadzhi also has 472 videos on his channel. Is it a coincidence that Brett has just decided to break down the exact video that I've also broke down as well? What do you guys think? Do you think it looks similar? But to tell you the truth, that's not the most concerning part here. For me, the most concerning part is I've been doing these breakdowns, these analyses, if that's even a word, these persuasion breakdowns of, public figures like Iman Gadzhi, Alex Hormozi, Andrew Tate, Sam Ovens, etc. I've been doing these breakdowns because I'm qualified and experienced to do these breakdowns. So, companies, usually in the region of 7 to 9 figures, hire me to consult for them on persuasion principles, ethical persuasion principles. So how can they sprinkle behavioral science and cognitive biases and psychology and persuasion principles into their marketing to A, convert higher, and B, see if they can scale a little bit. And this stuff is very, very effective. Now, I have a lot of experience in this. I love learning this stuff. I have a real passion for it. And I have to be good at it as well, because companies just wouldn't hire me otherwise, right? I have to know the nuances, the studies, all these sorts of things, right? But the problem is with this online world, this, online game that we're all playing, is that and I'm not saying, by the way, I'm not saying this is Brett who is doing this, right? I'm just using him as an example because we're talking about him. I don't know. He might know a little bit about persuasion or some of these things. That might have been a genuine video. You guys decide that. But my point is that I have to know this stuff. But any person on YouTube now can watch somebody's content on a subject which they know nothing about. They can then take notes, parrot that information back to an audience of their own, establish their own authority as somebody who's credible in this area, and sell a course with these techniques on it, with something which they've just learned, which they don't actually have any real world experience in. So this is how the situation potentially went. Brett saw my video on my channel with only 1,000 subscribers. Meanwhile, he has 430,000 subscribers. He thought, you know what, I like that content, so I'll take it because I don't think anyone will discover that I've took it because this channel doesn't have enough reach because it only has 1,000 subscribers. He then took the breakdown, framed it as his own.
Last psychology principle is the value I provided by analyzing the psychology that Iman uses in his hook.
Said that he's honest.
But my goal is to be as honest as possible.
And then went as far as to describe himself as the best in the world at this.
I think it's about time someone shows you how this whole content creation / personal brand game works, and I think I'll be the best in the world at doing that for you.
I think you just complimented me there, Brett. But you could be the second best person in the world. But is that really what an honest person would do, Brett? And this is the broader picture, moving away from this video right now. I think a lot of these gurus, have never done what they are saying they've done. Instead, they've jumped from a person who's learning straight to selling a course and put like a backstory about a successful business in as just like a story they've created on the spot. I've seen quite a lot of evidence of this, of some of these gurus that are going around where they haven't actually done the things which they've said they've done. Instead, they've just jumped right to selling a course, and now they kind of have to make up the credibility bit, right? And it's not just in the business space either. I saw a big creator, his name is Hamza, and he seems to make really good, self-improvement content. But I saw recently, and I watch, I've seen bits and bobs of him. Seems like a smart guy. I've seen recently, like, he's getting proper nailed because he's been giving lots of long-term relationship advice on as like part of self-improvement when his long-term relationships are, below par, right? I'm just commenting what everyone else is saying there. I don't know the ins and outs, but that's what I can see which is happening, which is, again, seeing information online, reading about it somewhere, and then parroting it with this conviction which now establishes you as an authority. And there's kind of a little bit of irony in what we've just watched there as well, because this guy, Brett, has been pointing out all these authority triggers that Iman is doing and talking about all the persuasion techniques as well, whilst he's also establishing his own credibility, framing this breakdown as completely his own and making an effort to put his stamp on it, whilst also having huge similarities between my breakdown and his breakdown. So arguably he got some inspiration from that. I don't think that's even up for debate. But did he actually go so far as to note down what I said and think, this is great content, I want my authority and stamp on this, so I'm just gonna reword a little bit so it's not quite the same? And realistically, does he have experience in this? I don't know, but what I'm saying is now that information's out there. A lot of people view him as an authority, as a credible figure on that persuasion area there. The point is, anyone can do that. So how do you know if the person you're getting advice from isn't just parroting it from someone else, and if they're actually a real credible source to listen to? So I'm actually just scrolling through this YouTuber's comments now, and we've seen one which hasn't been deleted yet, which links back to my video. So this person here says, bro copied Rob Lally's analysis of Iman Gadzhi and thought we wouldn't notice. Wonder why he didn't mention that Iman also uses fake engagement as part of his persuasion principles. Is it because you do it as well? So I know Happy Auto Gaming, I've seen him comment before on my videos, so he's picked up on this, and it looks like this comment hasn't been deleted yet. But what he's also saying is something very important as well. So he says, wonder why you didn't mention that Iman also uses fake engagement as part of his persuasion principles. Is it because you do it as well? So he's talking about that in my breakdown of Iman Gadzhi, I listed all these persuasion principles he does, but one of the big ones he does is social proof, and he does it through fake engagement. So if you look on Iman Gadzhi's channel, you can see that he's got hundreds and hundreds of comments that are overly positive, telling him he's a saint, saying it's the best video they ever watched. This is fake engagement. and it's designed to help fluff up his brand image as well. This video is a treasure trove of knowledge. Your video has given me a fresh perspective on this. Thank you for the insight. After watching this video, I have felt so lively again after feeling so broken, lifeless, down. And all these comments are talking about how old they are, which is an odd thing to write on a YouTube video. It's because the bot comments. As a 40-year-old man, as a 35-year-old. But my subscriber here has pointed out that Brett has covered all these principles, which I too have covered in my video, except one, which is where Iman uses this fake engagement. What would be the reason that Brett wouldn't cover that very principle there, that excess social proof in the form of fake engagement? Well, this viewer thinks that it's because some of Brett's comments themselves are actually fake engagement. Let's have a look through and see if we can see anything that's quite sus. What we're looking for is really overly positive comments, really singing praises, keywords like gold, this video is saucy, things like that. We got a video here which says this is so fucking saucy, which is one of the keywords that we pointed out in a different video when we were analyzing some of the gurus out there. They've got all these comments which are alluding to the video's saucy, the video's absolute sauce, etc, etc. So much sauce in this video. You see these keywords here. Love their raw videos. Overwhelmingly positive. Bro's giving out source for free and replying to every comment. Bro posted source. I don't know, maybe that's a coincidence, but you know, you guys let me know what you think. But I do genuinely believe, and I said this before in previous videos, that rehashing information that's already out there and then framing yourself as an authority on it is actually one of the, seems to be at the moment, one of the most popular methods amongst all these gurus. I took a course, and you guys have seen it, it was one of the previous videos, it was Sam Ovens' course, and it was back in like 2017 or 2018. And during that period, Sam scaled his business. I think he got it to like 32 million a year or something like that. And during that time, he scaled his business. And he was teaching other people how to scale as well. All these replica courses started popping up from some of his top students. They were covering things like the warm up which he uses. They were covering things like the mindset section where you got the little wavy line. And basically loads of people just copied his course completely, just ripped it off and then sold it as their own information and like kind of changed little bits and rehashed little bits. But we're living in an age as well where sometimes some of these people that you're learning from, they don't have the true lived experience to be teaching you on things which they haven't done themselves. Now, I've covered a few clips from the Iman Gadzhi video breakdown that I did, but a week later, I made a Alex Hormozi psychology breakdown video as well. Can we see any similarities? Alex Hormozi knows this, and he takes complex topics and breaks them down into very, very easy, digestible, easy to understand bits of information that all of his audience get. And you can see it from the comments there that they're all like, oh, your speech is so clear.
Have you ever watched an Alex Hormozi podcast and just been impressed with how clearly he explains his ideas in simple ways?
So Alex Hormozi does something and he does it very, very well. He basically follows the law of reciprocity. And what it means is if someone does a favor for you, you feel the need to do a favor back for them.
This now enacts the psychology principle of reciprocity. Psychology says that it is a social norm in which one person gives something to one person and that person gives something back in return.
Here's a question for you. Would you go to a doctor if how they learned was a bunch of theory, they've watched other doctors talk about it, they've just sort of learned from other people on the go? No, of course you wouldn't, because they don't understand the nuances, they don't understand the specifics, they wouldn't understand like when a case is complex and things like this. And the same thing is true for, you know, the online world at the moment where everyone is just rehashing everyone's ideas and taking it as well. And of course, you're never going to get completely original content, guys. But there's a difference between getting inspired by something and it makes you want to create a piece of content versus actually dissecting something somebody else has done and then packaging it up as a call to action. You know what I mean? And framing it completely as theirs. And I just want to give a massive thank you to you guys who have all been pushing my content, who've been engaging on it. It's only a tiny channel, guys. But it's just really cool to see that we've kind of got this like community feel, this like team feel. You've been suggesting content you want me to cover. You've been coming to me, you're like, hey Rob, this person's copied this video. It's just this real nice team feel, and hopefully you get values out of the video. I truly believe that we need to start pushing people up the algorithm and taking out some of these guys who don't know what they're talking about, who have kind of, done all the little hacks to stay right at the top there, to command as much attention and to command as many views as possible. And really, like, sometimes you end up as the blind leading the blind, right? Because you're looking at all these people at the top and you're like, they did this to get success. And really, it's complete BS. They never did any of that. They fed you like this lie of this BS backstory. They used to tell you the amount of guys I've seen, I don't want to get into this too much, but the amount of people that I've seen the backstories where at 19 I was doing 100 grand a month with my business, and like some of their company information's public, and like that's not what their information says. Like they've just completely lied about it, and now they're selling a course based off this BS backstory. And I just think it's not good, because you guys waste your money. You end up spending it on things you don't need to. Money's in, short supply for a lot of people. And then you end up going in circles because you're following people who don't really know what they're talking about, and you don't know that they don't know what they're talking about. So it like extends the time frame that you're trying to learn in. You end up thinking, well, this business guru told me to do X, Y, and Z, and they never did it themselves, right? So shout out to you guys who sent me those comments, who flagged this with me, and you be the judge. Did this influencer go a little bit over the line of just taking inspiration? Let me know. We can make a difference, guys, together, all of us as a team. And when other big creators start potentially, I'm not saying they did, but potentially replicating content, that means we're making waves, all right? So take it easy. See you guys in the next one.